Siema, zapraszam do oglądania kolejnego odcinka na moim kanale. Mam nadzieję, że będzie wam się podobać.
I'm at your... I'm looking for a fellow who lives...
What would you want with him? Well, it's no skin off my nose. The road to Ratek.
I'd like you to...
Just last night. Calling fire and that's not... Around here, you should hear about what Vashek the Groom... May the Lord...
Czyżby w pierdol się czekał?
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
Co się stało?
What you call nothing to see. I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanush's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosh. Or all that's left of him.
Nothing's ever...
Plot twist.
I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Who was Limpy Lubo?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say he kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble.
How come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawler.
Has he been up to...
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time.
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. Alone.
Do you happen to know where...
I've no idea. He kept his...
When did you find the body?
Just now. And nobody saw or heard anything. God be with...
Another thing about...
Take care now.
Jesus Christ, you...
I've come in the name of...
Ask away.
Who was this Lubo?
He was a drunkard and a...
Have you noticed anything...
The only things...
Do you know what...
What do I...
That's...
Good luck then. good day.
I've...
I don't know how.
Who was it?
You could see at first glance
Have you noticed?
there wasn't such.
That's...
May the Lord watch over you.
God be with. Of course.
That man...
He was a.
Have you... Do you know...
No.
Do you... That's all. I see you know how to... I wouldn't have expected...
With a stick. I practice with a stick. And it helps keep me in good form.
Weteran wojenny.
The blessings of our good... Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanush is employing children as investigators.
Did you know Lubosh? What was he...
Bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but
Did you notice any...
my child. All sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know what Lubosh...
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation.
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that forbid me to tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Father, surely you can't be serious.
There are things that apply always, no matter what.
But Lubosh is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying of... If people believe the sanctity of the
Worse than the death of innocent Christians.
no one escapes.
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the confessional. Suppose we talk it over in the evening, in the tavern, over a cup.
All right?
May the Lord watch over you.
Spoko mordo.
Do you have any work that...
My dear lad, I have more worries than I can bear. I have to deal with a local witch.
A witch?
The herb woman, old Gertrude. That devious hag who will
Oh, don't tell me. The cows are giving blood instead of milk, and babies are being...
This is no laughing matter.
A little bird told you, did it?
You know how good people are at seeing the splinter in another's eye, and
In other words, someone's... And what's the problem?
as long as herb women stay. But this is...
What do you want me to...
I want you to go and see her and find out if you learn that she...
Consider it done.
Good. Good luck to you.
One ale over here, please.
Może o 21 dopiero. Człowień!
Potom se já k mojej milej navrátím, potom půjdem na pár.
The blessings of our Lord be...
And with you, lad.
Co tam?
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. But maybe we can... But first I'd like to hear something about you, my son.
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh. I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, the girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front.
My poor child. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Ujitz, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most
I na
important
drugą
thing.
nóżkę.
What actually happened at Noyo? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumors aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarreled among themselves and broke off the attack. Judging by what's left.
I see it's every bit as bad as people call. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to...
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man with a cross.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
Dobra, do interesów.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do
Coś w
it
tym
again.
jest.
If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
If I tell you what Lubosh told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I
No
always
dobra,
wondered about
wierzę
the
księdzu.
priest. Where do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujitz is in Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. The tongue-lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well,
Henryka.
recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour. They know no mercy. You want to baptize a child? Hey. You want to steal and murder? What if the devil himself were to pay? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper, while Jesus Christ walked. Look to your consciences, you robber. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character.
Oh, the congregational.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny.
Wypijmy.
That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Who's preaching? I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them.
Here, enjoy.
What do you think of?
He's certainly a wise. If he got out of problem.
Where can I find?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons.
What do the common?
They like it. In a few years.
Yeah, unless they burn it.
Nonsense.
Thanks for this. It's getting quite.
What do you suppose?
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
Nice plan.
Let me down.
Co tu się? Pani przyszła. Och, ty. W oczach księdza. A mnie pytaj. I słowa.
Enough of this. Bailiff, come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Co ty Co ty mor... Nie. Chyba tu. Tego tu.
Get your pen. Missed. Get your penance now.
O, panie.
I'd love to. And Henry too, I'm sure. Right, Henry. Stop that nonsense, stop. Are you out of your mind? What can you say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch this without my... Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
Party chacie. Tłumacz.
And now, my
Dum.
dears, comes the climax of the evening.
God, when you old goat.
Come here.
Hey, what?
Oh,
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Well, hello. Henryk się rozkrył. To teraz się...
well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Mission complete.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell. Where the... Oh, what
Co się stało?
Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. And we have a wonderful time.
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. My guts. My poor suffering stomach. What was that woman on about? Before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass.
Mordo, o mszy zapomniałeś.
You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me.
I'd like to help you, but...
You can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the...
Kaczesz między... Idzie, level.
So all at once... We'll never get away.
Not if you make a
Well,
No, neither can I.
what do you want me to do exactly?
No need to drag it out.
Christ almighty.
Wonderful.
Ja nie wiem jak to ma się.
I thought he'd never show up. The swimp.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Bing, bing. O kurde, to się
Sanctas
skaże.
ad venerabiles a manus suas. Hoc commemorationem. Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will puke first.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, in how the once great mother.
That boy has a cheek.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not.
He's right.
It is the corruption of the accursed wealth that when dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens, they show no mercy. You want to baptize a child?
For shame! Shame!
And what sins? If someone takes, who can turn?
Nothing we don't know.
Enough about sin and whose absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? And what about those bishops? They play dice. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor.
Down with the prelates. Away with them.
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
I say to you, in the words of Jan Hus, he who knows much, let him speak much. He who knows little, let him speak little. Let each speak as much as he knows. And he who knows nothing, let him at least teach his neighbor. And that applies both to priests and...
That's his conclusion?
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that was.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a
I'm glad
silver
he
tongue.
came here. I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague, but he told it nicely.
Udało się.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin,
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubosh tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you,
Well, now Lubosh came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
fell out. Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubosh kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubosh killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pious. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah.
Postaram się.
Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
No nie powiem, takie... Dzięki za oglądanie odcinka. Mam nadzieję, że się podobał. Załapkujcie, napiszcie komentarz. Do zobaczenia na streamie lub w kolejnym odcinku. Cześć, cześć.